So, as you guys may be aware, over the past week or so, the economic tensions have just been getting absolutely out of hand. I mean, you've just got Trump just firing missiles left, right, and centre. You got all these trade wars going on, and there's just a lot going on right now in terms of the economy. And a lot of people obviously have become poor because of all this stuff going on here. And you may have noticed stuff just over the past few years that the gap between the poor and the rich has just been widening a lot. The middle class is just disappearing completely, and it's just really not a good time in terms of the economy. And I'm hoping that it will recover. I'm pretty sure it will, but this may be leaving you with the question, where do all of these rich people come from? Like, how is there so many rich people, but also so many poor people out there? How does this gap happen? Because you may find yourself just driving down the street in some suburban area, and you just look around and you see all of these really flash houses all over the place, all these people driving all these flash cars. There's so many of these neighborhoods all around the place, and you just can't help but wonder, how do these people get so rich? And I'm not just talking about billionaires, just millionaires in general. In New Zealand, we have got a lot of rich people, and that's not necessarily a bad thing for society. It's obviously a good thing to be rich. I mean, that's how capitalist societies work. It makes you want to be rich and earn more money so that you can have a better lifestyle. So I have nothing against that. But there are definitely a lot of mega wealthy people in New Zealand, but there is also just an equal number of very poor people. There is quite a lot of poverty going on in New Zealand at the moment, and signs of economic recovery are present. I think things will get better, but at the moment, the gap between the poor and the rich is just getting so much wider. You're either extremely rich or just completely destitute, really, these days. The middle class is just completely going away. So hopefully things will get better, but I mean, like I say before, you can just drive around and just go to Parnell in Auckland, for example, or Remuera or Mission Bay, or just anywhere in that Auckland sort of area there, or anywhere in Auckland in general, really. Just stay away from South Auckland. But apart from that, anywhere else in Auckland, there's just a lot of rich people out there, really. Then you go to Queenstown and that kind of thing, and all the farms around Auckland, and there's just a lot of rich people out there, really. And like I say, it just makes you wonder where these people come from, and that's basically what we're going to be looking into in today's episode of Market Talk. So let's just go ahead and just figure out, how do these people get so rich? What am I doing wrong that's causing me to just stay poor like this? How do I get on that good side and just see how the other half of the world live, you know what I mean? So let's just go ahead and look at that now.
Welcome to the world of Market Talk. Episodes are available on YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts.
We just go ahead and look at Google Maps here. Here we are in Auckland, and in this video we're mainly going to be focusing on New Zealand, how people become wealthy in New Zealand as opposed to the United States and that kind of thing. But here we are just looking at Auckland here. So this is the main CBD here, and here you've got Ponsonby and Herney Bay and Grey Lynn and all these poncy little areas here. But I mean, if you just look at the map here, all of these houses are at least $3 million. It's absolutely insane, and this is only one neighborhood in New Zealand. You can go to Queenstown, you can go to up north here somewhere. It just goes on and on. There's so many rich people all around the place, and it really just makes you wonder, how do so many rich people get their money? How do you get that rich, and how is there so many rich people? You wouldn't think there's that many jobs in New Zealand where you can get this rich to be able to afford a $5 million house in Ponsonby, but apparently there is. So it really just makes you wonder, honestly. Even if you look at here we are on the realestate.co.nz website, and I'm just looking at all these houses here. These are all 10 mil plus houses. I mean, look at this house here. This is just absolutely insane. Who used to own this? I mean, just look at all this. This is crazy. Who owns these houses? You must be extremely rich to be able to afford this. Oh my God. I mean, look at this here. This is like my dream house right here. This is crazy. And just to give you a sense of just how rich the rich are actually getting, here we are on a the Guardian article here, and it's essentially saying half of the world's wealth is now in hands of 1% of the world's population. So half of the entire money in the world only goes to 1% of the population, which is absolutely insane because I wouldn't imagine I'm in that 1%. I mean, there's like 7 billion people in the world and only 5 million people in New Zealand. And I mean, in most cases, most people in New Zealand live pretty comfortably. I mean, you don't see people out on the street just sleeping on the side of the road and just sleeping in tents and that kind of thing. Like, New Zealand is like, in comparison, it's a very good country, honestly. Like, anyone that lives in New Zealand should be pretty grateful. It's one of the top 10 countries to live in terms of like the economy, up there with like the United States and Australia and the UK and Canada and that kind of thing. So really the 5 million people that live in New Zealand are pretty lucky. So I'm not sure if like I would be in that 1%, but you've really just got to open your eyes to like the whole population of the world. I mean, just think about all those people that live in Africa and those Asian countries and, South America and that kind of thing. Like, there are a lot of people out there that just really live in poor conditions. I mean, even in the year 2025, like, you'd think the world would progress by now to like having the world living comfortably, but people are still out there like dying of starvation. It's pretty sad, really. So, I mean, you can argue as much as you want about how terribly the New Zealand economy is going and how terribly Luxon is doing as the Prime Minister and all that, but really at the end of the day, we're not doing too bad at all in comparison to some other countries out there. Especially with the tensions of the Middle East going on, with Trump sending rockets to Iran and all that. You definitely would not want to be living there right now. So, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if most New Zealanders were in that 1% of the population they're talking about here, of like half of the wealth. But yeah, the article also says the middle class has also been squeezed at the expense of the very rich, so like the like billionaires and that kind of thing. According to the Credit Suisse, which also finds for the first time that there are more individuals in the middle classes in China than there are in the US. So the economy in general is actually doing better in China than the US at the moment. Like, there's more people in the middle class, which is really what you want. There's really just got to be a balance. I mean, there's always going to be some people out there that are going to be in the lower class. That's just how the world works. But really, you just want to have a balance between the middle class and the upper class, because if there's too many like mega wealthy billionaires out there, then that's just not how economies work. Like, there's just going to be even more poor people, really, and like inflation is just going to skyrocket, and it's really just not how the economy works. There's just got to be a balance. So yeah, that's just really an insane thing to think about. It just goes to show just how greedy some people are getting, these like millionaires. 1% of all of the money, 50% of all of the money in the world goes to only 1% of the people in the world, which is just absolutely insane. I don't even know what to think about that. But yeah, so that's just the stats for the world in general, the global economy. But if we go ahead and look at the Stats NZ website here, it's essentially saying the top 10% of households in New Zealand hold over 51% of the total wealth. And that is still like a lot. Like, over half of the entire wealth of New Zealand only goes to 10% of the people that live here. So that just goes to show really just how rich some people in New Zealand are. It's just absolutely insane. Half of the money go to only 10% of the people that live here. And then you've got, for the top 1%, according to Stats NZ data, the top 1% of New Zealand households had a net wealth of at least $7.59 million in 2021. So yeah, wow. 1% of the top 1% of New Zealand households have $7.59 million. That is just absolutely insane. And this is quite outdated. It'll probably be even more than that this year, like maybe around 8 million. So that's just absolutely crazy to think. So for every 1 in 100 people that you see, that person has like $8 million roughly. Oh my God, 1 in every 100 people. That's just crazy to think about. Like, how do people earn that much money? $8 million. Do I even know anyone that like has $8 million net worth? I don't think I do, honestly. Like, how does this happen? Um, and then you got the wealthiest 10% of New Zealand households, which hold around 69% of the total household net worth. So the median net worth for all households in 2021 in New Zealand was $397,000, which honestly, I mean, it sounds like a lot, but like the average house in New Zealand is like what, around 700,000, maybe a bit more, almost 800,000. And like net worth is including everything you own. Like that's not just how much money you have in your bank account. That's like all of your investments, all of your properties, like your car, just everything you own. So that's really not that much. 397,000 is the average net worth in New Zealand. So do most people rent in New Zealand? Because that can't be right. Well, I suppose that is including like young people that don't like own a house yet. So like people that are still renting and that kind of thing. And I suppose most people in this country do still like have mortgages, so they don't fully own the house just yet. So I suppose that'll be about right. Almost 400,000. That's probably about right. The median net worth. So yeah, this is just very, very interesting stuff right here. And if we're looking at the share of wealth for like the different ethnic groups, for New Zealand European, the median net worth is, or for pre-retirement age, so that's like 55 to 64 years old. The median net worth for a New Zealand European person would be $439,000 for a New Zealand European person. Then we look at the Maori people, 164,000. So man, that is quite a bit less there. And then we got Pacific people, only $28,000. That's the median net worth for Pacific people in New Zealand. Wow, that's very low. Asian people, 260,000. But when you think about how these people got so rich, like the top 1% of New Zealand, when you think about how they actually earned that money, from a New Zealand sort of standpoint, most of the wealthiest people in New Zealand are all like land-owning farmers and that kind of thing. And a lot of it is generational sort of wealth, so just money like handed down from your parents and grandparents and that kind of thing. So unfortunately, to get rich, you do kind of need rich parents. Well, you don't. We will get into that a bit later. You don't necessarily need rich people to become rich. There are other ways about doing it, but yeah, here in New Zealand, the main way you can become rich is just property-related things, just owning properties and subdividing and just investing in different properties and that kind of thing. And of course, farming and owning orchards and dairy farms and that kind of thing. Because of course, here in New Zealand, farming is our main sort of industry here, like dairy. So yeah, that's how most people become wealthy in New Zealand, just from farming and property. But that's not the only thing. I mean, when you drive down the street and you see all those rich people in Parnell and that kind of thing, you've really just got to think about all of the different possible ways you could become rich. And there are a lot of ways you can become rich, like just think about it. But really the main way is just investing and owning companies, really. Because I know a guy that actually knows the owner of a like fruit sticker company here in New Zealand. So when you buy like bananas and apples and they've got those fruit stickers on them. Well, some guy that I know actually is friends with the owner of a company that actually manufactures those fruit stickers, and he's like mega wealthy. He has at least, maybe not like $50 million, but at least like $20 million. Like he's pretty rich just for like making fruit stickers. But when you think about just how many fruit stickers like you have to produce to go on all that fruit, like that is a lot of fruit. Like you would be making a killing just printing all those fruit stickers there. So it's just random things like that that you've got to think about, like the couch behind me, like who manufactured that couch, who invested in the company that built that couch, and who owns that company. They must be pretty rich there. Um, who like invested in the company that built the chair you're sitting on right now? Who is the owner of the company that manufactured the socks you're wearing right now? Um, who was an investor for the packaging company of the toothpaste you used this morning? Like, there's just so many things. You could just go on and on. Just look around yourself and just think about all of the investors out there that invested in the companies that just built the things around you, really, and that do the services around you. So you've really just got to open your eyes to like all of the companies out there, not just brands, but just companies in general, like companies that manufacture things for other companies and do services for other companies. Like, there are a lot of companies out there and a lot of opportunities for investment, really. So you've really just got to open your eyes up to that, and once you do, like, it becomes clear like how there's so many rich people around the world, you know. Um, but unfortunately, in today's time, it is getting increasingly harder to get rich. Like, getting rich is not an easy task at all. Like, you know, it's very hard to get rich. I've tried many times. I've been doing a lot of research into the best ways to become rich, and it's just really not an easy thing. Like, I've tried to start my own business doing graphic design and marketing and branding and a whole lot of things, but it just didn't work. So it is just getting a lot harder to get rich these days. It used to, in the old days, it used to be like quite a lot easier to be rich, like especially around the time that the internet sort of first started to become a thing, because it was such a new thing, and there was just so many opportunities with the internet. It was just completely unlimited, and it kind of just makes me wish I was born in like 1975 or something, so that I could like be a pioneer in the internet and start like some sort of internet startup company like a Google or PayPal or something like that. Because yeah, the internet was just such a new thing, and there was just so many opportunities to make money off it. I mean, think about the people that invented Google and just like Amazon, of course, and like there was just so many things you could do with it. But these days there isn't. I feel like there isn't as much innovation, and there's just not as much opportunity to make money, because everyone's already just thought of everything, really. And I guess there is AI. You could invest in AI, and I've been thinking of ways to like start some sort of an AI business and leverage AI, but there's really not much you can do with it, really. Like, what can you do with an AI business? Because I'm not a developer. I'm not going to start my own like chat GPT sort of thing, so there's not really much you can do with that. And even if there was, there's probably like thousands of other people out there that have already thought of the same thing. So it's just, the economy is getting really competitive, and it's just really a hard thing to get rich. And even like investing these days, if you're just going to be a solo investor, you're competing against like all of these big Wall Street investors out there that know what they're doing and know exactly when to buy and sell. Like, you don't know what you're doing, you know? So it's just very hard. You have to be, there's really only three ways of becoming rich, really. Like I said before, you either need rich parents or just rich relatives or rich friends or anyone rich that will give you startup investment funds, or you need to just be some sort of genius mastermind sort of like person with a like really good idea and that'll make fortunes, and you either need that, or you just need to be really lucky and like win the lottery or do really well with like buying the right stocks and that kind of thing. So it's either luck or rich parents or just being really smart, really. That's really the three key ways of becoming rich. And I've tried the mastermind way, and that didn't really work out. Obviously, I don't have rich parents, so not much I can do there. And I haven't been lucky yet, haven't won the lottery yet. So, yeah, there's just really not a lot you can do to get rich these days, unfortunately. Hate to break it to you. It's just very, very hard to get anywhere in the world of business if you don't have any like starting investment sort of funds, like you don't have rich parents or just money in the bank in general to actually start investing or start your own business or whatever. It's just a very, very hard work. A lot, I want to say most of it is actually just luck, really. I mean, you can't just rely on anyone winning the lottery. Like, it's just not going to happen. But then again, there are people out there that do actually win the lottery. Like, you read about people winning $40 million and then you never hear of them again. That would just be the ultimate dream, just winning like $40 million for doing absolutely nothing. And obviously that does happen to people out there, but like, that's such a rare thing. Like, it's just impossible to wrap your head around just how uncommon it is to actually win the lottery. I sometimes just dream about what I would do if I would win the lottery. If I won the lotto, what I would do is just probably put like three quarters of my winnings into like a Milford investment, like a active growth fund, or just some sort of a like managed investment fund or something. Because when you set up a term deposit with Milford, it's literally just free money. That's all it is. You're just literally just earning money off nothing. So I'd highly recommend that you do set up some sort of a term deposit. And if you do live in New Zealand, I'd highly recommend that you do look at Milford investment funds. That's what I'm set up with at the moment. And by the way, no, this video is not sponsored, but yeah, I have made an episode in the past about Milford. I've done a review of Milford investment funds. And in general, they're just a really good company. It's a really good opportunity, probably better than just like buying your own shares and ETFs and that kind of thing, because that is very risky. There's little to no risk involved with Milford, depending on what your circumstances are and what fund you're going to be investing in. But for me personally, Milford has been very good. So if I won the lotto, I honestly would just put most of it into like an investment fund and just let it grow money and just like live comfortably. I'll probably still keep working because, you know, you need like a purpose in life. Because if I like won the lotto and just didn't like work, what would I even be doing? Just sitting at home, just going all depressed, because it's like you have no purpose in life, you know? Like, your purpose in life is to work and to contribute to society. So I probably still would work, maybe just do part-time and then just do like a lot of traveling or something. But for the most part, I'll be sensible. I'll just probably put like most of it into a term deposit and then just like buy a decent sized house and maybe buy a new car, and that's it really. You know, give some of it to family, and that's pretty much it. I'll just live a comfortable life sort of thing. I would highly recommend that you do check out the book Rich Dad Poor Dad if you haven't read that already, because that was a very eye-opening book. And basically what it explained was that there's really just two types of people in this world. So there's really one of the types of people is just the type of person that just does a 9 to 5 job, just does the same job for their whole lives, just works for like, these companies, but never really climbs the corporate ladder. Or they do climb the corporate ladder, but they never end up like owning a business or anything like that. They just keep on working their day job. So there's that kind of person, but then there's the kind of person that actually puts the effort into becoming rich and like invests in like property and stocks and that kind of thing, and actually tries to build their own company as opposed to just working for someone else. Because if you're the first type of person, you're literally what you're doing is you're literally just contributing to someone else's wealth. You're just making the owner of the company wealthier. You're really not doing yourself any favors. All you're doing is just helping yourself survive, really. You're just surviving off the salary that they give you. And obviously you do have to start off with like having a like 9 to 5 job just so you can actually like earn money. But really you shouldn't do that for the rest of your life. Like, you should start your own sort of company and invest in these different things and actually just try to grow your wealth to a point where you've got enough income earning assets that you don't even have to work anymore, really. So you've just got to build up your assets and just keep investing and just you've got to take risks in life, really. You've just got to invest in stocks, and that's just part of life sometimes, really. But yeah, I did do a full review of Rich Dad Poor Dad on this podcast. It's episode 2 on this podcast if you haven't checked that out already. And yeah, it's just a very eye-opening book into the world of actually, becoming wealthy. And I slowly but surely am taking the steps to eventually become wealthy, hopefully. But we'll just see what happens, guys, because like I say, a lot of it is just luck, really. Just got to pick the right assets and just hope that they do eventually grow some value, really. That's just what it comes down to. But yeah, so I'm now just looking at this article from Vox here, and it's basically just explaining what I said before. Where do billionaires come from? Mum and dad. So that's really how most people become rich. They just, inherit the money from their parents and then just build their own sort of empire from that. Because, like I say, you do need money to actually make money these days, which is pretty depressing, but that's just the reality of it. And it says, in late 2023, the richest woman in the world became a centi-billionaire. But she didn't get there by building an online shopping empire or by selling sleek EVs like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. She did it the good old-fashioned way, by inheriting it. So yeah, essentially this article is saying that the richest woman in the world literally just inherited her wealth, and that's really how she became wealthy. And it doesn't always work out like that. Like Jeff Bezos, for example, his parents weren't wealthy. He just had a really good idea, and he was just lucky that he was able to come up with this idea before anyone else did, of starting this online bookstore. And then he just started it, and here he is today, this multi-billionaire. And it's the same with Elon Musk. His parents weren't particularly wealthy. He just had this really good idea. And the same with Bill Gates. And it's the same with a lot of people, really. So sometimes you do just have to have a bit of genius in you and just have this really good idea. But if we go ahead and look at this list here from Forbes, this list basically explains the top 10 biggest industries for billionaires in 2024. So the top industry for becoming a billionaire is finance and investments. So that'll be like Warren Buffett, the CEO of Berkshire Hathaway. So that's a fairly obvious one, just investing in stocks and companies and property and that kind of thing. Then number 2, you got technology, so that's obviously Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates and that kind of thing. And that'll be it's saying there's 342 billionaires in the world that invested in technology, so 12% of this list. Number 3 is manufacturing. Number 4 is fashion and retail, so that'll be like Bernard Arnault, the CEO of LVMH or Louis Vuitton. Then we got food and beverage for number 5, and it just goes on and on. You guys can look at this list here. Surprisingly, quite far down in this list at number 8 is actually real estate. I thought that would have been way higher up. Like you got Donald Trump and all that. But yeah, so number 1 is, of course, finance and investments. But yeah, this list only really goes to the US, but if we're looking from a New Zealand standpoint, as I said before, most viable way you can become rich in New Zealand is really just from farming and property investment, because like I say, that's our main industry, just farming really. So yeah, that's basically everything I had to cover in this episode today. Hopefully you guys did gain somewhat of an understanding of just how there's so many rich people in this world and how they even got so rich. And it's just it's quite eye-opening really when you think about how many businesses there are out there, and just how many investors must be investing in those companies and all the owners. And it honestly just makes you wonder. It really does. But just keep on building those assets, guys, and hopefully, you will start to gain wealth eventually, because it is a cruel world sometimes, guys. It's very unfair, but that's just the way the world goes round, unfortunately. So yeah, that's basically everything I had to cover. Let me know what you thought down in the comments down below of this episode. And without further ado, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you in the next episode. Peace out.
Market Talk is a production of TeamTMS. For more episodes of Market Talk just like this one, visit us on YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you for listening.